It's been 24 conference games, and no one has beaten the Ravens. Here's Scrub, coast to coast, and one. Tonight, they are looking for their 7th Wilson Cup championship in the past 9 seasons. Carleton will survive here in Hamilton. But the Thunderwolves are rolling and may just have the defense and the outside shooting to take down the Goliath that is Carleton. Thompson in the corner. Russell. Got it! Got it! Got it! Everything is up for grabs as it is Carleton and Lakehead for the Wilson Cup. Next on The Score. Hello, Canada. Welcome inside McMaster's Burridge Gymnasium. Alongside Ken Murray, I'm Tim McAuliffe, and we're happy to have you along for the 94th edition of the Wilson Cup, live on the Score Television Network, as Carleton looks for their 7th championship, and Lakehead plays in their first ever Wilson Cup final. Hello, everybody, and welcome inside Hamilton's Burridge Gymnasium alongside Ken Murray. I'm Tim McAuliffe, and Ken, for this 94th edition of the Wilson Cup, the marquee could read quite simply, defense wins championships, as we have the top 2 defenses in the conference in Lakehead and Carleton, but that would be an injustice to the number 1 team in the nation. Carleton pulled off the rare daily double, leading the conference in scoring as well, and a lot of that has to do with their OUA East Player of the Year, Tyson Hins.
Well, Tyson, the reigning OUA East Player of the Year, is Carleton's leader all season long. Last night he had a double-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds, showing why he has become a force inside all season long.
Now, the sophomore didn't do it alone. In fact, he had plenty of help from our quarter player of the game, freshman Phil Scrub.
What an outstanding performance for a freshman. Last night he had 23 points, a perfect 7 for 7 from the free throw line. He shoots 86.4% from the free throw line, and he is also the OUA East Rookie of the Year.
Now, Lakehead had a star of their own, in fact, an OUA All-Star, Benzel Russell.
Well, the Detroit, Michigan native, he had 17 points last night, but probably scored the biggest 2 points in his short Lakehead career, scoring the winning basket with 0.9 seconds left to go. He's an athletic guard who possesses great quickness.
All right, that victory was made all the more impressive for Lakehead, considering that their OUA All-Star first team, Jamie Searle, was held at just 2 points.
Well, Jamie struggled last night. However, he hit the 2 free throws to tie the game, and then he ended up getting the key steal that led to the winning basket. So still not a bad...
OUA semifinal night was definitely an awful one for me. I feel like I really let my team and my brothers down that night. But once again, our team had that step up mentality, and a bunch of guys contributed to make sure we got the win.
Let's take a look at your Bel Air Direct keys to the game, starting with depth.
Well, the first one last night, Carleton used 4 guys that played over 30 minutes a game. Lakehead played 4 guys that played over 28 minutes a game. How much do they have left in their tank, and how deep can they go into their bench? The second one, our control. Lakehead averages almost 9 made 3-point shots a game. Carleton has got to find a way to keep them under control. And the last one is board work. Carleton is one of the best rebounding teams in the country. If Lakehead has any chance at all to win tonight, they have got to try to match them on the backboards.
Remember, college and university students can save 10% on their car insurance with Bel Air Direct. Visit BelAirDirect.com for a car insurance quote today. This is where reputations are built and busted. This is the OUA playoffs. The top-ranked team in the nation, the Carleton Ravens, look for their 7th Wilson Cup in 9 seasons. The Lakehead T-Wolves looking for their first ever, the 94th Wilson Cup. Tips next, live on The Score.
Coming off that big buzzer beater win against Ottawa, emotions were high. Everybody was real happy, but we knew we had a real chance at making history and capturing Lakehead's first ever OUA Championship. So we quickly had to refocus because we had that opportunity the next day. And on top of that, I was going to be against Carleton.
It used to be the only way that Lakehead saw the top 10 was by looking up. But tonight, they play for their first ever Wilson Cup as the 6th-ranked team in the nation with a chance to knock off number 1. For the starting lineups, we turn it over to public address announcer Bill Malley.
Here are your starting lineups for tonight's championship game. For the Lakehead Thunderwolves, who will be the guests on the scoreboard, a 6'6" forward from Toronto, number 5, Yusri Salia. A 6'2" guard from Detroit, Michigan, number 6, Benzel Russell. A 6'7" forward from Oakville, number 9, Ryan Thompson. A 5'10" guard from Ottawa, number 10, Greg Carter. And a 6'1" guard from Belleville, number 22, Jamie Searle. The head coach is Scott Morrison, assistants Matt Erdman, Pat Charlebois, Zach White, and Andrew Quirion. And here are your starters for the Carleton Ravens, who will be the home team. A 6'4" guard from Fredericton, number 10, Elliot Thompson. A 6'6" guard from Ashton, number 22, Cole Hoban. A 6'3" guard from Richmond, BC, number 23, Philip Scrub. A 6'6" forward from Ottawa, number 42, Tyson Hins. And a 6'8" forward from Bloomfield, number 43, Aaron Chapman. The head coach is Dave Smart, assistant coaches Rob Smart Jr., Dean Petritis, and Sean McCleary.
The Ravens starters coach, as always, very versatile. And Ken, I think the OUA East Player of the Year defensively, Cole Hoban exemplifies that pretty well.
There's no doubt about it. He's one of these in-your-face defenders. He can guard a guard. He can guard a forward. He's very, very versatile. And I think he may be the best defensive player in the country.
As for Lakehead, the WD-40 guy just might be Yusri Salia.
I just love Yusri. You know what? He doesn't show any emotion on the floor, but I'll tell you, he is so good down low on the block. He plays well with his back to the basket, and he rebounds exceptional well. Yeah, he's going to have to play really, really well tonight if Lakehead's going to have any chance.
Our starting lineups brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Canada. Have a chocolate milk today in order to make your tomorrow's workout better. As for our coaches today, it is the OUA West Coach of the Year versus the OUA East Coach of the Year. Scott Morrison has led the renaissance at Lakehead, something Dave Smart accomplished at Carleton years ago. In fact, some people forget just how far this Carleton program has come.
I remember when Dave took the program over, the program was in real shambles, and he's done such a wonderful job. As I said to you earlier, I think he probably had most of his losses in his first year at Carleton.
Just 9 regular season losses in 9 seasons at Carleton. Dave Smart has definitely done the job. Al Robinson, Paul Carter, and Phil Law are our officials today as we are getting underway. Live coast to coast on the score. The 94th Wilson Cup is underway. Kind of.
Well, the one player there hit the ball on the way up, which you really can't do. It negates how big you are then.
So we will do it once again. And this time Chapman steals it. So the Carleton Ravens win the tip. They're in the black with red and white trim. The Lakehead Thunderwolves from Thunder Bay, sporting their whites with blue and yellow trim. The freshman scrub no good on the opening possession for the Ravens. And there's Salia wiping the boards clean.
Well, that's what Scrub did yesterday. He just kept taking the ball strong to the basket, and he finally missed one. I don't think he missed yesterday.
Benzel Russell, long on the triple attempt. And Carleton may look to push against this Lakehead defense.
I think they're going to try to get him in transition right now. They may try to tire him out. I think Carleton can go a little deeper on their bench right now.
Hims for 3. He'll miss, rebound, battled for, and won by who else but Yusri.
He finds he's in the right spot at the right time.
This is Greg Carter out there along with Searle and Thompson. The 6'7" freshman kicks it out, low pass, it'll touch out of bounds And it'll be a turnover against the T-Wolves.
I think you're going to see both teams being a little tight the first couple of minutes. There's a lot of importance on this. It is for an Ontario Championship. It is for a banner to hang in your gymnasium. So they might be a little tight the first couple of minutes.
Playing for banners, and when you've never had one, as Lakehead has, makes it all the more important. Shot clock under 10. Hims backing his man down. The spin. Can't get it to go, but grabs his own rebound and sticks it back.
That's why he's been their leader all year long. He's a garbage collector inside. He pursued this shot very, very well, so he gets a rebound and a basket on the same play.
8th in the OUA in scoring at 17 points per game, but led them in field goal percentage, shooting 57% from the floor.
That's outstanding shooting.
Here's Searle, and he didn't have a field goal last night. Kicks it out, Carter stepping in, knocking down, and drawing the foul. So Lakehead on the board and can add to it from the free throw line.
That was a great ball movement by Carter in that type of situation. One thing I'm going to say about the referees right now, we have two real experienced referees at the national level in Al Robinson and Paul Carter. They have been at the national tournament multitude of years.
So speaking of defensive player of the years, Carter to the line, misses the chippy. And it's still 2. Open, working off the bounce into the lane.
That's too easy. That's what they did yesterday against Laurier down the stretch. Too many easy baskets right there. Lakehead has got to keep them out of the paint.
Why are they so adept at getting that?
Well, they did it very quick off the dribble. Very quick. And they spaced the floor really well, so it's tough to get help defense in there.
Thompson, step back, jack, got it.
That's a key hoop for him. They need him to score tonight.
Thompson had 7 rebounds and 5 assists last night against Ottawa.
He had the biggest assist, though. He was the one that passed it to Benzel Russell for the winning hoop.
Here's Chapman backing down. Kiss off the glass.
He switched that from his right to left hand. That is a talented play right there.
Both Chapman and Kenny have been battling illness all year long with Dave Smart's squad, and now find their minutes lowered. Searle picks up the loose ball with 7 on the shot clock. Gives it up to Russell. Clean look, and he buried it off the backboard. Shot clock violation. And go the way of the Ravens.
Well, Russell struggled a little bit yesterday, if you remember. He shot a couple air balls earlier in the game. Once he got his feet wet and got a little relaxed, he played very, very well.
Salia sits down, replaced by Matthew Schmidt, who was 2 of 2 off the bench for 6 points.
And they were key points early in the game when the Lakehead was pulling away.
Scrub. Hins off the glass and good.
You've got to keep him out of the paint.
A quick 4 for Tyson Hins. Two intriguing matchups. Searle against Hoban, and on the other side, Scrub against Carter.
I know, great matchups. I mean, just beautiful to watch.
Carter Jackson 3, no good. Thompson skies for the rebound and pushes.
I'd love to see Hoban go against Carter, the two best defensive players. I'd love to see what either one of them would do.
Carleton started 0 of 3, but they are 4 of 4, make it 5 of 5 since. Hins with 6, and Carleton with a 6-point lead.
Hins relies so much on pressure like that, and he just spins on you. You've got to give him some spacing. If you don't give him spacing, he's going to eat you alive.
Ball fake after ball fake, and if you bite, he burns it.
You're dead.
There's Schmidt stepping in, and an offensive foul called against Schmidt, and that was a collision. Chapman slow to get up.
Lakehead has got to be really careful right now because Carleton is scoring way too easy. They're getting easy baskets inside, and that is not a good sign whatsoever.
Chapman paid for that one, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah, he needs a little bit of a break there.
This is the matchup I was talking about. Carter on Scrub. And Scrub not only scored as Hins goes to the rim and draws. Oh, stepped out of bounds.
But he's getting to the basket. And that, again, that's not a good sign for Lakehead. You've got to, if he's going to beat you, make him beat you from 15 feet, not 2 feet.
Finish the thought on Scrub. Not only did he have 15 points in the second half, but he shut down Cale Harrison.
He did a wonderful job on Harrison. You know, he showed, for a first-year player, he showed a lot of character and a lot of poise.
Are you surprised that Hogan's on Searle?
Yeah, I really am. I thought he might go on Russell, but that's how much they respect Jamie Searle.
Speaking of Russell, gathers his own miss. And here's Searle. Another charge call, this time Hins steps in. And the Carleton Ravens off to a strong start, leading by 6 with 4:57 remaining in the first quarter. The number 1 team in the nation off to a good start, and a lot of it has to do with Tyson Hins.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He's getting the shots that he really wants. And when you get a player that's good and he gets those types of shots, you could be in for a long day. And they don't need to see him have a game where he scored 34 points earlier in the season.
His season high came against Brock, so you know he has the ability to put a big game up. And the 6-0 run from Carleton has them up 10-4. They're in the OUA Championship game. Hins working one-on-one on Schmidt. Spins through the lane. This one will bounce out. Secured by Schmidt. Also checking into the game, Ben Johnson for Lakehead. Comes down to Thompson, kicks out. Searle, open look.
I addressed his shot in that type of a situation. He's desperate to score.
Speaking of rushing, Scrub trying to draw the foul, doesn't get it. Back the other way, Carter. Got ugly there for a while. Willie Manigat stops us as he commits the foul.
That'd be a great track race between Manigat and Carter. They're two of the most athletic players, I think, in the country. And boy, I'll tell you what, that was major league speed coming down the floor.
Two of the fastest. And Willie Manigat comes off the bench for Dave Smart and is their 3rd leading scorer. We saw him inject some energy yesterday.
Oh, yes, he did. I mean, he really, really got him going yesterday.
Hi, Lakehead Tommy. This is Greg Carter, former LU point guard, now alumni. Just want to give a huge shout out. Hope everyone's staying safe at this point in time. Coach Thompson had a couple of questions for me. One of the questions was, number 1, how did I regroup? How did our team regroup after our semifinal win versus Ottawa U in the OUA Championships? I guess it had a lot to do with experience. A lot of our guys were in our 4th, 5th, even some of our even younger guys are in our 3rd year. So a lot of it had to do with experience, and we've been through some highs and lows throughout the years of not being able to refocus and still focus on the last game that we had. So I think after that game, there's a lot of adrenaline with regards to excitement. And I think after we left that locker room, we were refocused. How did we refocus? We definitely went home or went back to the hotel, watched film, studied the next opponent, which was going to be Carleton. Figured out what we were going to eat. Definitely took care of our bodies. And didn't really go on a high like we usually did with prior years. I think it was just more to stay grounded, and that's how you pretty much refocus, right? Take the wins as as accomplishments, but not highs. So I think we definitely refocused. We took care of our bodies. We watched film, and we just prepared mentally for the next game, which was the finals. So
Carter hits both. Mike Kenny will check into the game.
I'm sorry, Tim.
I was going to say, as we check in with a 3rd member of our crew and Thunder Bay native, Glenn Sheeler. Glenn?
Yeah, Tim, these two teams met November 27th at the Ravens Nest. It was a 26-point win for Carleton, and neither team shot really well, but Lakehead shot below 29%. They're struggling with their shot tonight. It looks like they have to improve on that, but also on the boards. They lost that battle by 10. And Scott Morrison says, you know what, 1 to 5, they may be bigger than us, but our bigs match up with their bigs, so there's no excuse. We have to win the battle on the boards.
Scrub pushed by Joseph Jones, who's checked into the game for Morrison.
I think Coach Smart is being pretty adamant he doesn't want Manigat bringing the ball down the floor.
Against Carter.
Yeah, I wouldn't want somebody to bring it down against him either.
That's how good your OUA West Defensive Player of the Year is. Hins looked like he got bailed out there by a call.
Yeah, he did. He looked like he was out of control. And when a player's out of control like that, I don't like to see him bailed out like that, but I think the official thought there was enough contact to make the call there.
And when you are a Player of the Year, you get those calls every once in a while.
Yeah, that does help a bit.
Let's have one more look at it. We'll call it ticky-tack. How about that? It might be a foul there, but it's a ticky-tack foul.
I might be saying something about that if I was coaching.
12-6, Carleton leads. Ben Johnson, who played 2 seasons of Division II ball at St. Rose in Albany, New York, handling the rock. As Coach Morrison's gone to his bench. Is Jones. See if that's on the ground. We'll say that is on the ground, not a shooting foul.
Now they're calling the game not any tighter, but they're making the calls that should be made out there. And I thought yesterday sometimes the officials let some things go that should have been called. They're trying to take control of the game right now, and I can understand that.
Well, that would cost Phil Scrubb his second foul. And that sends him to the bench with 3:33 remaining in the first quarter. Shot clock down. Johnson tried to go back to the right hand, and Salia picks up the rebound. Jones, shot clock winding down, knocks down the money ball.
That's a big 3 for him right now because they were in danger of starting to lose contact with Carleton. That brings them right back into it.
I think what kind of helped me make sure I always showed up in big games, kind of a 2-part. First thing is I've always had a chip on my shoulder. I've always felt like I had something to prove. Not that I actually did, but I've just always felt like I've had something to prove. So night in and night out, I wanted to show everyone that I'm here, I belong here, I can play with the best of them.
It's a 3-point game. Manigat battling with Carter down to the ground. And Dave Smart screaming for a foul against Carter, and he got one.
Well, Greg got a little carried away, He did his job. He knocked the ball away. The guys down on the floor, don't let him pass the ball. And he got a little carried away in that type of a situation. You'll see it here on the replay.
There's a good defensive play, but jumping on top and then the pull.
Yeah.
But because of it, that's the 5th foul against Lakehead with 3 minutes to go.
Carleton still has one to give.
Carleton, the best free throw shooting team in the nation. And Willie Manigat is a 71% free throw shooter. He hits both. Back up to a 5-point lead. Andrew Hackner into the game, sets the screen. Jones blocked. Salia tries to get it to go. Hackner can't get it to fall. And Carleton clears. Kenny stepped out of bounds, taking the pass from Manigat.
That was a good possession by Lakehead last time, though. They hit the offensive glass pretty hard, and that's one of the things I think they really have to do. They came away empty-handed, but still, I think at least they're getting the ball and getting the shot attempts, and that's key.
I think the battle on the boards, and we saw it the last time these two played, could play a key factor in this game.
They really can. And rebounding is 75% desire, 25% ability. I mean, you got to want to go get it. Salia always does, but who's going to help him get the rebound in that type of situation? Whereas Carleton gang rebounds. Everybody hits the glass for them.
Well, Coach Smart talked about key factors in winning games. One of them is turnovers, and he says you can't coach turnovers. Guys are going to make mistakes, but you can coach guys hitting the glass, and they practice it every day and work it really hard.
Well, there's no excuse to not want to rebound. I mean, you think about the basic fundamentals. If all 5 guys blocked out, you would get a high percentages of the loose balls in that type of situation. A lot of players don't like the contact, or a lot of players get lazy out there. Carleton players, if they get lazy, you know where they're ending up. They're not going to be on the floor very long.
Glenn Sheeler talked about the last meeting. It was at the Ravens' Nest in Ottawa, and Carleton won big, 75-49 the final, but I think Lakehead enjoys this opportunity to get another shot because they didn't shoot it well in that first meeting.
No, they did not. And then the other thing, too, is I believe they played Ottawa first night, and they only beat Ottawa by 3, which probably drained them a bit. And then they got to come back and play the best team in the country, and they may have run out of gas in that type of a situation. This game has a little different meaning to it, being that it's for an Ontario Championship. You forget about being tired now.
That was the lowest point total of the season, 49. Here you see Carleton with some full court pressure. They back off now that Ben Johnson gets it over the timeline. Carleton 31-0 overall. And Manigan pushes Ben Johnson out of bounds, and for Willie, that's 2.
Those are key fouls. Scrub has 2 fouls right now, and Manigat's got 2 fouls, and those are 2 very important keys for Carleton.
And again, it's a situation where he does a solid job, just as Carter did with the initial play, but then takes it a little bit too far. Picks up his second. Carter for 3. Mike Kenny. Kenny, a former starter for these Carleton Ravens, and if Manigat and Scrub remain in foul trouble, we might see a lot of Mike Kenny.
We may, and he is a very, very dangerous perimeter scorer. He shoots the ball extremely well.
Hins, kick out. Thompson with 5 on the shot clock. Sally again. Skies for the rebound.
Doing a great job on the backboard for Lakehead right now. He's keeping them in the basketball game.
Joseph Jones with the entry pass to Salia. Double comes. Passes out of it. Wide open look. Carter can't get it to go. Jones hustle, and he will knock it off Thompson and out of bounds. Lakehead ball.
I'll tell you what, both teams are working hard. Love seeing players die for loose balls in that type of a situation.
Joseph Jones, a sophomore out of Washington, D.C. Jones played for a friend of Morrison's in Baltimore, Benny Edson, who played here in Canada, Dalhousie. Called the experience the best of his life, so he sends kids up here all the time. I'm sure Coach Morrison liked when that call came. Important piece off the bench. Salia spins with the elbows high. Kenny out of bounds. And Lake had another possession and a fresh shot clock. They've struggled from the field, though. It's one of their last 12 now.
But they're still in contact. They're only down 5 points, so that's a good sign.
That's because of the hustle. Johnson for 3, knocking down. We saw him last night start 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. He's a shooter.
He's got a great stroke. And he has no fear. He hit that. He's about 3 or 4 feet off the arc that time.
He was beyond the NBA 3-point. In and out. Searle secures.
Tell you what, Lakehead is holding their own on the backboards, and that's a very big key in this game.
2-point game. Johnson. Off the bounce, high off the glass, and there's a charge. Smenziak stepping in, and it'll go the other way.
This is trademark Carleton defense. They love taking the charge. They probably take as many as anybody in the whole country right there.
You know, I was the leader of Senator O'Connor's junior varsity team in charges taken.
I heard that was a nasty rumor going around.
That was my game. Stepping in. And that's about it. Under 20 seconds remaining, first quarter. Carleton leading by 2. Spenziak trying to get position down low. Sends it the other way.
Well, players get a tendency to start throwing their elbows back, not intentionally, but to try and get position, and he got caught that time.
So he picks up his first, team's 5th. But on the offensive end, it'll be possession for Lakehead.
I think the officials are doing a very good job right now keeping this game under control.
Carleton by 2, 14-12. And what should be the final possession of the opening quarter. Thompson, kick out. Searle has to force, and he knocks down the triple to give Lakehead the lead after 1. 15-14 Thunderwolves playing in their first ever Wilson Cup final and off to a fantastic start against the #1 team in the nation, the undefeated Carleton Ravens. Lakehead closes the opening quarter on a 6-0 run, and Coach, it helped that they got it going from downtown.
Well, the amazing thing is they started off 0 for 6 from the arc, but they've gone their last 3 for 3, so what a way to get yourself back in the game.
Shooting just 29%, but they have a 1-point lead after one thanks to those triples from beyond the arc, and that was part of your game keys.
There's no doubt about it. Carleton has got to get out there and defend.
Ben Johnson out there with Thompson, Searle, Salia, and Joseph Jones. Jones the touch, the triple, and they'll go off front rim, cleared by the other scrub. Thomas Scrub into the game. The older brother of Phil Scrub. He'll get a look from 3. In and out, battle on the loose boards, and wow. Salia just finds a way. He's got glue on those hands.
Well, he does have very good hands, but he just reads the shot, the angles very, very well.
That is his 6th rebound early on here. Searle for Jones. Shot clock down. Tried to catch Chapman underneath and lost the handle going up. Shot off in time, and Carleton can push. Thomas Scrub, scoreless last night and contributing early here.
Well, Carleton is going to have to get some production off their bench with his other brother, with Phil Scrub being in foul trouble and Manigat in foul trouble. They need some real production.
And the difference between Canadian University ball is Sully gets the good entry pass, but is blocked from behind by Chapman, is that most guys you put out there, no matter if they're 6 foot or 6'6", can handle the ball and play different positions.
I agree with you. Very versatile.
There's Chapman, 6'8", step away. Searle the rebound. Cole Hoban able to keep Searle in check in the early going. Oh, there you see Ben Johnson, the bucket, the bruise, as he hits the triple.
All set up by the dribble penetration off of Searle. Penetrates, kicks it wide open to the shooter. Not only to get the 3, but he's going to get the chance for a 4-point play. That's great ball movement.
So Benjamin Johnson will step to the free throw line, and as you can tell by his season average, he has found his groove in this tournament here. Yesterday he finished with 12 points. And there's Hoban creating. Thompson jacks the 3. Mike Kenny the rebound. Just go baseline, drop it off for Chapman, who lays it home.
Great assist by Kenny in that type of situation. Again on dribble penetration. Nice easy dish to Aaron Chapman.
So we're tied at 18. Live coast to coast in the Score Television Network. The OUA Championship to McAuliffe, Ken Murray, and Glenn Sheeler. Thompson, and the big fella can hit from beyond. He does just that.
Lakehead is raining 3s right now, and that's not a good sign for Carleton.
Thompson 9th in the CIS in 3-point percentage. Not bad for a 6'7" freshman post.
No, and yesterday he actually gave up a wide open look to get the ball to Benzel Russell at the end, noting that teams always have their go-to players down the stretch, and Russell is one of them, and Searle is one of them. So smart play by him yesterday, and that was a great shot that he just made.
Gives the Thunderwolves a 3-point lead. Carleton 22-0 in the regular season, 31-0 overall against CIS schools. Shot clock winding down. Hoban, tough bucket.
He does a great job of penetrating and finishing. He throws up some shots I don't think have a prayer going in, and they go in.
Here's Searle, off the dribble penetration. Benzel long. And Carleton swinging bows. Who do they get?
They're calling an unsportsmanlike foul there, and we'll see here on the replay, and you'll see why. There's the elbow. Elbow right to the head. So it's an unsportsmanlike, so he'll shoot 2 free throws right now.
Did he say 10 black, though?
Yeah.
They got 10 black. And the elbow was thrown by Cole Hogan. So Searle shoots the 2 free throws. And I think they'll talk over just who picked up the foul, whether it was Hoban or Thompson.
Yeah, they're discussing it right now. It's amazing. Jamie Searle shoots 86.2% from the free throw line, but Lakehead as a team only shoots 62.3. So the moral of the story is don't foul Searle. So they're going to change it.
Yeah, they'll put it on Hoban.
That's a very good officiating crew to be able to recognize that. I thought they've done a great job so far.
So the unsportsmanlike is not only the 2 shots, but possession of the ball. And Lakehead with a 3-point lead. Go right back to work. Benzel Russell, junior from Detroit, Michigan, gives it off to Searle, who gets it up off the glass and knocks it down.
You're seeing a totally different player today. Now a player with confidence, showing why he was a first-team OUA West All-Star.
Phil Scrubb back into the game with 2 fouls. And Ben Johnson will pick up his second.
Scrubb did a nice job of drawing the foul in that type of situation.
So Johnson, who gave quality minutes to Scott Morrison, will head to the bench.
He's had a good 2 days of basketball so far, and he still has more than half the basketball left. He's given them a huge lift.
Scrubb hits both. We're back to a 3-point game. Just over 6 minutes remaining, first half. The Lakehead Thunderwolves looking for their first ever Wilson Cup championship. Turn it over as Searle looked for Brendan King.
He was doing the right thing. See, to me, that's a good turnover. That's a positive turnover because it was not a bad pass. Sometimes I hate bad turnovers. Guys bouncing the ball off their foot or throwing a pass 10 feet over a guy's head. That's not a bad turnover.
Hoban handles the rock against Russell. Beat him off the bounce. Kick out. Thompson, baseline jumper. Chapman the rebound. Lost the handle. Down and dirty. And Lakehead wins. Carter, cross, twice. Kick. Thompson thought about it. Finally takes, and look at Searle underneath. We'll get a jump ball as Thompson and Searle.
He showed a lot of spunk there, I'll tell you.
He was held without a field goal against Ottawa last night, and you knew something like that wasn't going to happen again today.
No, he's come out. He's trying. He's not like he's trying to prove a point. He's just more comfortable today.
I think Carleton knew that too by putting Hoban on him.
They definitely respect him as a player. There's no doubt about that.
Here's Hins. Spitting into the double. And Carter comes up with the steal and draws the foul.
That's the best way to stop Hins. Either you break contact with him or bring somebody to double him. They double him right there and he kicked it out. There's Carter, Mr. Defense.
The OUA West Defensive Player of the Year will handle the ball for the Lakehead Thunderwolves. Working off the screen. Searle, wide open. Back rim. And Kenny pushes. Trying to take it all the way. Force that up, looking to draw a foul. None forthcoming. Back and forth we go. There's your 2 Defensive Player of the Years battling.
Yeah, Carter got a little out of control on that one, but Hoban did a nice job.
Thompson trying to pick up the pace are the Carleton Ravens. We'll see if they can do so and take this lead back. They trail by 3 here in the second.
It's out there big time.
Both teams getting after it. Looking for a banner for that gym. That's what's on the line here as both these teams are going to the CIS Nationals next week in Halifax. Thompson, the first of 2 free throws. Makes it a 2-point game with 4:44 remaining in the second quarter. Can't afford to put Carleton on the line in any situation, but it seems like every guy can hit him.
It's almost automatic points for him.
Johnson put in a tough position. He's able to save it back to Thompson. Searle with Kenny on him. Into the paint. He gets the floater to go. 9 points here for Jamie Searle after being held to just 2 in semifinal Friday.
You know, that was good defense by Mike Kenny, but it was a good basket by Searle. So both players did well that time.
Wide open look for Thompson. Can't get it to go. Usri secures rebound number 7.
You just got to love the way what he does around the basket.
But on the offensive end, clears out with the elbow. He gets it to go off the kiss.
He's like new furniture, a nice finish.
Mike Kenny, 5th-year senior out of Ottawa, Ontario. Some good defense here by Lakehead as those fans get into it. Tommy Sprague reverse lay-in with 2 on the shot clock.
Now, Ryan Thompson was not in the help side situation. He got too caught up with his man. If he steps in there, there's no way he's going to get that shot away.
4 points off the bench for the older of the 2 scrubs. And then comes up with a steal. Hoban, straight to the tin. He can't get it to go.
Lakehead, I think they want to make this a half-court game. Carleton wants to make it a full-court game right now.
As the foul was committed by Thompson, we'll go back down to the sidelines and Glenn Sheeler. Glenn?
Yeah, more to what Ken was talking about. He's right. Dave Smart wants the pace to be quicker. In the last timeout, he said, guys, we're playing way too slow. We're not getting in our sets quick enough. And specifically to Hins, he said, Hins, if you're going to play slow, you got to dominate. You're not dominating. So, guys, let's get into the sets quicker and play a faster pace.
Hins, after scoring 8 points in the opening quarter, has yet to put up a shot here in the second frame. Hackner off the ball fake. Thompson. Double team, finds himself in trouble with 3 on the clock, gets it off, and it's Elliott Thompson with the rebound. You guys better be careful throwing those balls now.
Yeah, the referees are really smart right now. They're taking good control of the game.
Searle reaching in, called the foul. And for Searle, that's his second, with 2:32 remaining in the first half.
And they can't afford to lose Searle. Yesterday they did a nice job without him, but I think, you know, being a 5th-year player, playing in the most important game in their school's history right now, they need him on the basketball floor.
Now Spenzia. Hackner steps off the hack.
Well, playing sporadic minutes is tough. I think you have to prepare the same way anyone else on the team does. For me personally, you know, with my strengths and weaknesses, I really need to make sure I knew the game plan. I knew the scouting report to give me any advantage I can on the next guy. And, you know, preparing for that game, we had nothing to lose. We had lost by, I think, 40 to Carleton in the first half of the season. And so we had nothing to lose, and we were just out there for blood.
Denies the son of the pretty darn good curler, Al Hackner. Nice feed underneath of Benzel Russell.
You see how quick that ball came out of his hands? Very, very quick release.
He knew there was pressure coming. Was able to get it to go before it came. Svenzik underneath. Off glass, no good. Under 2 minutes remaining, and Lakehead leading by 5. Searle spitting twice. Hackner, ball fake, getting to the rim, and he'll draw the foul. I believe the basketball skills have to come from his Little League softball coach. It just happened to be Glenn Sheeler. What'd you teach him about basketball, Shields?
Don't go down looking on strike 3. Is that a basketball term?
No.
He was a good player.
Didn't play much last night, but he has injected some energy off the bench for Coach Morrison.
He really has. And that's one of the things I talked about is how deep can these teams go in their bench. Both teams are going deep in their bench. It'll be interesting to compare statistics at halftime as to which bench has been producing better in the other team. But right now, Lakehead's taking one out of Carleton's base. He took the ball to the basket a few times against Carleton. And you know what? The Lakehead guys look like they're gaining confidence as this game is continuing on.
Let's take a look at our summary thus far, brought to you by Tourism Hamilton, which is proud to support the OUA. Visit tourismhamilton.com for complete information on Hamilton area attractions, events, and activities. Tyson Hins, the strong start in this one, has kind of been the tale of two quarters, or at least the end of the first quarter in the second quarter for Lakehead.
Well, Hins has not scored a point in the second quarter, and Searle all of a sudden now is really asserting himself, and Lakehead all of a sudden now is shooting the ball really well from the perimeter. So, as I used in my keys, Carleton, if they can't defend on the perimeter, and if Lakehead is shooting that high of a percentage, this could be a really interesting game in the last quarter.
Especially as the confidence builds. When you lose to a team 75-49, you can go into that second game with a lack of confidence, but the further it goes with Lakehead hanging in there, the more confidence they'll have.
Well, the best thing for Lakehead right now is to go in at halftime with the lead, because that's a real positive. You can compare that against their last game. They will come out sky high in the second half.
Here's Hagner at the line. Misses the first. I think he might be a Habs fan, Coach. Got the Canadian socks on. And Benzel Russell had an opportunity to make it a 7-point game, but missed.
Did everything but go in.
Maybe Sheeler taught Hagner his free throw shooting. Goes 0 for 2 from the stripe. And Carleton looks to cut into the lead. King spinning. Is there a travel call? Yes. Hagner with some defense, and Hins just out of control.
Well, what Hagner did that time, which was good, is he used his chest. Rather than using his hands, he uses his chest. And your chest, it's amazing how you can control a player in that type of situation. And you'll see it right now. He uses his upper body to steer the guy, and Hins tried to slip around him, and the referee caught him.
Lakehead on a 6-0 run. Johnson, the kick out. Russell, clean look. The shot isn't there today.
Celia with the tip out.
How about off the bounce? Still can't get it to go. Thompson battles. And it's Churchill who almost walked.
Lakehead's battling before. I'll tell you what, they've got to start making those inside shots there.
Dave Smart's really going to his bench. He's got Churchill in there as well. Hoban passes out of the double team. Hins into a double team, where Lakehead's done a job on Hins after that opening quarter.
Well, they're starting to double him right now, and he's having a hard time with it, so you're going to have to learn how to pass out of that.
Barring anything unforeseen, Lakehead will head to the locker room, leading this ball game. Johnson. Salia gets it back and gets to the foul line.
Usry's done a great job. Both ends of the floor right now.
So he'll get 2 shots. The sophomore from Toronto. Not the greatest free throw shooter, just 50%.
He shot the ball well from the free throw line yesterday, above his average, but this game's got a little more importance to it, so sometimes you come back to what your regular average is.
A double-double last night. And he hits his average, 1 of 2. And with 8.4 left in the clock, Dave Smart will use a timeout and try and draw something up to cut into this lead. A 6-point spread for Lakehead.
you know, if I'm Scott Morrison right now, I got to be extremely pleased, especially with the start. They started off very, very slow. They couldn't hit a hoop. They were 0 for 6 from the three-point arc, and now they have slowly clawed their way back in and now have surged to the lead. And you know what? This is going to be a real big key for him going in halftime that he can use as a positive. The scary thing that I would think right now with Lakehead, and he's got to make his guys aware, Carleton coming out flying in the second half. Keep him in a half-court game. You got a chance to beat him. Full-court game, Carleton wins.
How much does it help that a guy who was 0 for 6 from the floor last night has started to find his groove here tonight in Jamie Searle?
But he forgets about yesterday's game. You know, yesterday's game was probably weighing on his head all night. He hits his first shots, all of a sudden, yesterday didn't exist. And I'll tell you what, if he can keep this pace going, Lakehead's going to have a great chance to pull the major upset.
He's got 9 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, doing a little bit of everything for Coach Morrison.
That's why he's a conference all-star. That's why he's the team's captain. You know, he does a nice job of settling the team down. Rather than Greg Carter bringing the ball on the floor, Searle does. Keeps him under control, get him in a half-court set. His court vision is extremely good. And you know what? The kid can score. He's scary every once in a while. He can throw up a high 20-point game.
2 fouls means he's on the bench for this final possession for Carleton. 32-26, Thunderwolves leading. Russell gets the steal, and with 3 seconds left, forces it up, almost got it to go. Instead, Lakehead will head to the locker room with a 32-26 lead, the #1 team in the nation. On the ropes at halftime, the 31-0 Carleton Ravens trail it by 6 after 20 minutes. Laura Dykin from the Score Studios, next. The top scoring team in the conference held the 26 in the opening half, the Lakehead Thunderwolves, on the verge of becoming the first team to knock off the Carleton Ravens this season. As we look at your halftime statistics, brought to you by Wilson, makers of the Wilson Evolution Basketball, the official basketball of the OUA. The Ravens' lowest scoring output this season, Coach, 75 against Lakehead earlier this season.
I think Lakehead's doing a great job defensively right now. They're starting to help out a little bit better. They're double teaming the post players inside. They got to be really careful with this first 3 or 4 minutes of the third quarter because Dave's going to have his team fired up right now.
Lakehead in their first ever Wilson Cup championship game and leading the #1 ranked team in the nation by 6 at halftime. Start of the third quarter, Benzel Russell, who has struggled in this game, now 1 of 10 from the floor.
Well, it looks like he's shooting the ball too quickly. Good shooters have rhythm, and right now it's just like he's catching it, and he's not even taking his time with them. He's got to collect himself a little bit better.
So he kicks out Thompson, tough catch, but he knocks it down.
He's a very good perimeter scorer for a big man.
15-hour bus ride from Thunder Bay, and they're making it all worthwhile right now, leading by 8. Hoban traveled, and Lakehead gets it back. In fact, Glenn Sheeler, who's from Thunder Bay, getting texts from various folks in the hometown. They have captured the imagination. In fact, one of the schools, the Superior Griffin senior boys team's at OFSA right now in North Bay. They're all watching in the hotel.
Isn't that great? And I'm sure they're cheering for Lakehead.
And right now they got plenty to cheer about. Up 8. Thompson waiting for Russell. Dribbled back into the defense there. The initial move got him some room, and he walked.
He's trying to do a little too much right now. But you know the scary thing with the guy that's 1 for 10? All of a sudden, he starts knocking down a couple.
He's due. Opening minute here, second half. Both teams headed next week to the national finals in Halifax. Carleton looking for their 7th OUA championship in 9 seasons. Willie Madigan. That's one way to do it.
That's, you know, again, that's been their signature in the last 2 days. And Lakehead stopped that in the second quarter. They cannot allow Carleton to get shots like that.
Searle. Waits for Greg Carter. Greg Carter stops, pops. Can't get it to drop. And here comes Carleton again. They travel first. The Searle, veteran move, stepping in and forcing it.
Well, he didn't know if he was in the way or not, but I'll tell you what, he forced the travel, so I'm going to say it was a good defensive play.
Well, in actuality, he wasn't sure whether he caused a travel or picked up a foul.
Exactly.
I got you.
He got lucky on that one.
Benzel Russell just can't find any sort of spot. And another walk this time on Cole Hoban.
Same thing with Russell that time. It was like he was throwing up a hand grenade. It was up so quickly. You know, take your time, collect yourself. You know, if you get the shot block, hey, life continues.
A little hop there from Hoban. Gives it back to Lakehead. With a 6-point lead. Salia with the hook in the lane, and he gets it to go.
He's money in there. I'll tell you what, he is tough.
Doesn't take a ton of shots, but seems to find 10, 12 every game. Willie Manigat, no good. And coming in strong is the point guard, Phil Scrubb. We didn't see much from Scrubb in the first half. Saddled with 2 fouls.
Well, the foul trouble really not only hurt him, but it hurt his team. And they rely on him so heavily right now. But that was a great pursuit of the basketball by him.
He hits the first of 2 free throws. Just 2 points in the opening half. But remember, he had 15 in the second half last night against Laurier and was the difference.
Well, you don't want to wake him up.
No.
Keep him sleeping right now, and Lakehead's got a chance. If he wakes up, well, I'll tell you what, it could be a totally different game.
Carleton 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. It's not something you see often from this team, but you do see that. Scrappy defense, the turnover, and a chance to cut into the 6-point lead. In fact, cut it in half, but Thompson is short on the triple.
Actually,
picks it up.
In reality, Carleton is #1 in the CIS in 3-point percentage, shooting over 40%.
We're at 0% here tonight. Thompson, the push. Just pushed it right off the glass. And Salia will settle it down.
Smart move there. I mean, you can see Carleton they want it to be a track meet right now. The Lakehead's got to get into a half-court set.
Here's Russell. He continues to struggle. Hit the game winner last night. On a short pocket too, but
I've had nights like this, you know, it's just one of these things, you know, it seems like nothing can go in there. And he's not even a good free throw shooter, so you can't say foul him so he can get to the free throw line. So he's got to find a way to break out of this.
Salia lost it off his foot. Say it went off Carleton.
Carleton's starting to swarm him right now. Carleton loves to double the post player in that type of situation. And they did a good job of swarming him.
Lakehead may be the Wolves, but sometimes those Ravens will swarm you like a pack of wolves. In fact, that's how they've won most of their national championships, by smothering teams.
Exactly.
Salia the spin, just muscles it up and in.
That's a tough basket, very tough basket.
With the kiss. And it's an 8-point lead. Phil Scrubb. For a foul. Looks like he'll get to the line. And if that's against Scrubb, that's his third.
They called it on the dribble, though. It's not on the shot, so they got a little bit of a reprieve. Otherwise, it's guaranteed 2 points for Carleton.
Manigan. It's Ben Johnson, I think, who picked up that foul. It was his second. Another quick foul here. And that's 3 teams. As Carter picked up his second.
Well, they're starting to play too much with their hands now, and that's not a good sign. You do not want Carleton in the bonus situation. Lakehead already has 3 team fouls.
Hoban with the floater in the lane. It's a 6-point game.
He's tough when he does that. Very tough. He hasn't done it enough.
Searle with the ball fake. Carter, wide open look. I think Morrison was sending a message to his point guard there.
I think so. I mean, Carter is so wide open. You know, you're thinking like, well, I wish I could be out there getting those types of shots.
He's not a great shooter, 38% from the floor. But when you're standing out there in the midst of a game and there's no one within 5 feet of you, the instinct is to shoot. Hoban travels.
Well, you know,
I don't know if I've seen a Carleton team seem this disorganized.
No, I mean, those are unforced errors. Travel to me is an unforced error. They normally don't make those. They're usually, probably to me, one of the most disciplined teams in the country, and they're making mistakes you never ever see make.
Unforced error, it sounds like my ex-girlfriend's. 6-point lead for Lakehead, trying to add to it. There's Thompson from the corner, and the big fella knocks down again. 41-32.
He's stroking it. He's stroking it.
Willie Manigat out there with Phil Scrubb, Mike Kenny, Hines and Hoban. Manigat straight to the tin, lay it in with the left hand.
Too easy. Way too easy. No help defense in that type of situation.
Kept saying that last night against Laurier. This Carleton team just seems to find a way to get to the rim. Thompson, heat check, back rim. But it's rebounded by Lakehead, and Mike Kenny picks up a foul.
I'm a little concerned right now. Jamie Searle has disappeared. He really isn't doing much out there at all. You know, he's their key player right now, and he's been left off the score sheet in the second half so far. He doesn't seem to be active. He's got to get back into the game. He's got to wake up.
That being said, they still have a 41-34 lead, 7 points. Schmidt's checked into the game. He gets the ball, finds Searle. Gets into the lane, tried to jump step and just lost the ball and pushed it up off the glass. Carleton pushes. Thompson thought about the three, gives it up to Manigat. And that is a charge leaning into the Defensive Player of the Year in the OUA West, Greg Carter. And that will bring us to a timeout on the floor. Foul number 3. Have to keep an eye on that. A 7-point lead. Championship in 6 overtimes over the Guelph Griffins.
I'm tired just hearing it.
9 total periods. That'll train you, as it did Justin Dunk, who called the game by himself on the internet. 41-34, Lakehead leading the #1 team in the nation. Scrub pushed by Ben Johnson, and he'll go to the line. That's a couple times in the last few possessions he's been able to earn his way to the strike.
Well, they're doing it in a full court situation. They're pushing the ball really hard. Lakehead's got to slow him down and get him into a half-court set.
So that's the 3rd foul against Ben Johnson. Was that something they stretched during that timeout, Glenn?
You know what, Tim? Dave Smart just said, guys, I don't know what to say. We're playing afraid. We can't win like this. Someone has to want the ball. Someone has to want to shoot. He's not seeing that at all out there. He said, guys, let's get back to the fundamentals, communicate. Nobody's talking out there. He was pretty mad at the break there, Tim.
And it's ironic that a freshman is the guy who takes control. Coaches, he grabbed that ball and went straight to the rim, hits 2 free throws.
You normally don't see that type of maturity in a freshman, and he is very, very mature for his age right now. And you're right, he's the one that's taking charge. I mean, a guy like Tyson Hins has disappeared. He hasn't scored since the first quarter.
I know a lot of people out there are dying for me to use some sort of scrub line, but it doesn't apply here. In fact, if Lisa Left Eye Lopez had met this kid, probably never would have had the song. Willie Manigat has picked up a foul, and that's 4 on him.
Well, that's a lot of athleticism going to the bench right now.
Willie's face is walked off. Told us a story.
Well, it's not bad having a guy like Mike Kenny coming in, too, a very experienced veteran.
Won a national championship as a starter.
And he's a very good shooter.
Salia with the shot clock winding down, gotta get it up. Realized it, but couldn't get it to go. And here comes Mike Kenny. Thompson picks up his dribble and looks for the bailout. That is Kenny. Said he can shoot over 46% from beyond the arc. Hins stepped on the end line. It'll go Lakehead way. And after scoring 8 points in the opening quarter, he is 0 of 1 from the floor with 3 turnovers.
Tell you what, they're not giving him any good looks at all. They're doubling him every time he gets the ball. They're bringing a second guy at him, and he's forcing it.
There you see the turnovers, 15 for Carleton. Uncharacteristic to say the least. And Salia gets called for the offensive foul as he put the elbow into the grill of Svenzia.
Threw his hands back a little too quickly.
Svenzia sold it, and it's Carleton ball. Just over 3 minutes remaining, third quarter. Live coast to coast, this is the Wilson Cup. Tim McCallum alongside Ken Murray, Glenn Sheeler on the sidelines as Hackner battles for the loose ball. And we'll get a jump. Possession arrow. We'll give it to Carleton, trailing by 5. Quick respite for Searle. He's back into the game, and once again, down and dirty, and it's almost as if Lakehead's beating Carleton at their game.
Right now they are. They really are, and that's the reason why they're winning right now. Carleton's way of basketball works. I mean, based on what their championships and everything they've got.
Shot clock at 3. Thompson, gotta shoot, got it off, and he's short. Searle the rebound. And let me remind folks, they average over 90 points per game, the Carleton Ravens, tops in the conference. Lowest output on the year is 75. We're under 3 minutes left in the third quarter, they have 36.
Lakehead has just done a remarkable job slowing him down, double teaming him, making him, forcing him into mistakes basically.
It's not 9-7-9, but Johnson drops another. And it's a 43-36 lead. Scrub the triple. Searle the rebound, and he will throw it off Svenzia and out of bounds.
Carleton can't get anybody on track right now. Here's the leading three-point shooting team in the country, and they're afraid to take the shot out there. You know, they just got to swallow and say, "Hey, forget about what happened. We got to start taking this game into our hands."
Thompson's over. You mentioned that Hens, after that great start, has really struggled. Willie Manna gets on the bench. And Lakehead now looks to Ben Johnson, the leaner, partially blocked. Here comes Carleton again. Cole Hoban's 3 of 4 from the field. As Hens blocked by Salia, gets it back. He'll put it up off the glass, and they will call the foul on Hackner. And Tyson Hins will head to the line looking for his first point since the first quarter.
That's the most active he's been since the first quarter. And he got rewarded for it in that situation.
If other teams are watching this Carleton game film, they're thinking there's a chance.
Oh, there's no doubt. But between now and next weekend, you can be assured Dave Smart's going to make some adjustments.
Hins, a 78% free throw shooter, misses both. Joseph Jones back into the game. Salia forced it. And there's Thompson with the rebound. Benzel Russell also back in the game. Svenzia, nice dish for Hins. And he's back on the board.
That was a great pass by Svenzia. Great pass. But again, it was in transition.
43-38. Lakehead leads. 1 minute remains, third quarter. Thompson whistles the foul on the floor. And for him, that's his third. team's fourth. So Mike Kenny checks back in. Elliot Thompson, will he manage it? Both in foul trouble for the Ravens. Searle thought about it. Puts it on the deck. Hoping some good defense. Jones. A strong take, can't get it to go, and here come the Ravens again with Phil Scrubb. Push from behind, and Dave Smart. He's irate.
Both teams are playing really tight. Lakehead all of a sudden has stopped scoring, and Carleton hasn't done a great job of scoring either. But Lakehead's still managing the lead right now, but they need to loosen up a little bit.
Lakehead just one of their last 8 from the floor. Hackner again whistled as he was battling with Hins down low.
Well, Hackner's the type of player that you can bring out. He's got 5 fouls. He'll use all 5 fouls. And so he's battling with them really hard in there. And then they're going to bring a bigger player to help double in that type of a situation.
I think Coach Morrison wants to know how much he can battle. And he's calmed down in his older age.
Oh, is he ever? He used to be pretty theatrical, I'll tell you. He can still got the suit jacket button.
Yeah. Hins again struggling from the free throw line. As mentioned, near 80 on the year. Missed 3 in a row. Not only does Coach Morrison have his jacket buttoned up, but Coach Smart's jacket's still on, a near miracle for both.
I don't know if I could be that calm and cool.
Under 30 seconds left. Third quarter. Lakehead by 4. Searle, the crossover, step back. The fadeaway was there, but there was no splash. With 5.3 left. Carleton gets it. Cut this to a 1-possession game heading to the fourth quarter with a basket here.
Well, you've got to be careful here as Carleton just flying down the floor in this type of a situation. So you want to make sure you keep the Carleton player in front of you. You don't want them looping the pass over top of you.
No touchdown pass?
You don't want that. And I've seen that happen a lot. Keep the ball in front of you.
Here's the call play from Smart. Inbound to Kenny. In the middle. Phil Scrubb walked.
He was uncertain what to do in that situation there. And that young mistake, that happens.
Dave Smart with a quick substitution to save anyone from a foul. And we'll get Phil out of the game. Phil Scrubb goes to the bench. 1.2 left. See if Lakehead's got a play. Jones got it! Oh, they've got it! They wave it off. I was convinced he got it off glass, but it's waved off. Now we'll tell you what the crowd thinks. Lakehead could have had a 7-point lead. Instead, it remains 4. No instant replay.
Fuck these guys!
Here in the OUA. But Lakehead has a 4-point lead. Could it have been good? Let's have a look. Heading to break.
Oh, that's a good shot. That was out of his hands.
During the commercial break, the officials came over to our booth, and under FIBA rules, there is instant replay. They play under FIBA rules here in the OUA and the CIS. Now, normally, they don't have the luxury of replay, but you can see they came over to our booth and had a look, and they're going to count the basket.
No, it's clearly in. It's clearly out of his hands with 0.1, and, that's a huge, huge boost for Lakehead right now.
You can see the crowd react. And again, you talked about it earlier. It's the right call. under FIBA rules, they're allowed replay. Normally in the OUA, they just don't have it.
We don't have them televised. We don't have the TV monitors to go to, but because of the truck, they did a great job in the truck.
So it's 46-39. The Jones triple at the buzzer counts, and Lakehead heads to the fourth against the undefeated and number 1 ranked Carleton Ravens, leading by 7.
Well, again, I talked about the third quarter, the first 3 minutes. The fourth quarter is even more crucial right now. Lakehead's got to continue forcing Carleton to play half-court offense.
Hens, the kick out. Mike Kenny, triple money.
He's money from out there. I'll tell you what, he could really, really be a big goose for him.
As a junior, led the nation in three-point percentage at 54.
That's unbelievable.
Hand down, man down when it comes to Kenny. Searle, the left-hand lay-in.
That's his first basket in a long time, but what a great time to have for the basket to come.
6-point lead. Smenzia thought about it. Here's Phil Scrub. Charge, block. Block on Joseph Jones as he tried to take it to the 10.
It was close. It was close, but that's the right call.
We'll say it was on the floor, and it'll be Ravens ball on the end line.
Again, Lakehead's got to be careful. They pick up some early fouls always in the quarter, and you don't want Carleton on the free throw line at the end of the game.
That's a charge on Hoban. Jones tried to draw 2. He got one of them.
What a comeback for defense, I'll tell you right now. Lakehead is playing tough right now.
Just a second on Hoban. He is one of the few Ravens not in foul trouble. Thompson, kick out. Searle, wide open 3. In and out. Thompson battles for the rebound and picks up the foul.
I'll tell you, Ryan Thompson has had a very steady game for him. He's done a decent job rebounding, and he's knocked down some threes for him. Just the boost that they needed in this type of a situation.
Jones out there with Searle, Ben Johnson, Salia, and Thompson. Shot clock down to 10. Salia seals, and the finish.
Great pass, great seal, great finish.
Usri Salia with a big bucket to restore an 8-point Lakehead lead. And he gets the free throw to go. 9-point lead as Willie Manigat checks in with 4 fouls.
Well, Willie's he brings some athleticism, some quickness right now, and Carleton right now is almost in a desperation mode where they got to start really picking the tempo up.
Manigat denied by Johnson, but Johnson pushed and will pick up the foul.
Well, that was very, very close. That was a 2-point play for sure, and that's his 4th foul.
So Johnson and Manigat both with 4 fouls, both remain in the game. Under 8 minutes. Hens. The foul will go on Salia. This is the way they can get back into this game, by finding their way to the free throw line. They're ranked number 1 in the nation. In and out.
If this comes down to a free throw shooting contest in the end, I don't like Lakehead's chances. So Lakehead better settle the score before they get into that type of scenario.
This is the network to do it. We're settling this score. The Wilson Cup Championship, live coast to coast. Tim McAuliffe along with Ken Murray, Glenn Sheeler along the sidelines. The Lakehead Thunderwolves, in their first ever Wilson Cup final, have the #1 team in the nation, the 31-0 Ravens, on the ropes. The largest lead of the game is 10 at 53-43. Manigat for 3. Salia with the rebound, and Lakehead with 7 minutes left. Searle to the 10, and Carleton needs a timeout.
This is exactly the start that Lakehead needed in the fourth quarter. What they've got to be careful right now is you can't celebrate. There's too much basketball left right now. Too many teams celebrate when they get a lead on Carleton. They need to play even harder than what they're playing right now for the last 7 minutes.
0-0.
Jamie Searle, 0 for 6 yesterday, just 2 points in the semifinals. A big 2 points, but for a 2-time OUA All-Star, it was definitely a disappointing game. He's bounced back in a big way.
He's showing a true veteran. This is what a fifth-year senior is supposed to do in this type of situation. He's supposed to take charge out there, and he's showing why he's a first-team conference All-Star.
Averaging over 13 points a game to go along with over 5 rebounds as we take a look at our drive of the game, brought to you by Pioneer Petroleum. Refuel, refresh, reward yourself at Pioneer today. And that is the drive of the game. Jamie Searle taking it tinward and laying it home.
He has really picked up his game in this last quarter, and this is where you really need him to play. He's the glue behind the team. He's the one that runs the offense. He sets the table for him out there. They need him, and they need his production.
And they've gotten it. Searle now at 15. Notice he just pointed to my stat sheet to say 18 turnovers by Carleton.
You don't see that happen very often. It's usually the opponent that's in that type of a situation. But Lakehead has asserted themselves defensively. They're moving their feet really well. They're trapping. They're doing everything they probably set out in their game plan.
I talked to Coach Morrison early in the week. I said, describe your team, and he said, well, it starts and ends with defense.
Going into the 2011 final against Carleton, we had a couple major keys that we wanted to try and emphasize over the course of the 40-minute game. Defensively, we thought the key for not only beating them, but any time we took the floor was our ball pressure. We had a fast team, a smaller team that can really disrupt things defensively, and we wanted to make a point to make sure that every possession, every catch, we were right in their grill, pressuring them, making it uncomfortable for them to move the ball and catch it where they want, and as a result, hopefully limit the amount of good shots that they got. I think in watching this game again, I think we really did a good job of that, and there wasn't too many possessions where we weren't really hawking the ball and making them uncomfortable, and that was how we kept them so far below their scoring average.
And it has here today.
There is no doubt about that.
Jones commits the foul. That's his third.
The scary thing with that is Carleton's in the bonus on the next foul, and there's still 6:52 left to go in the game. Regulation time.
Kins with a nice catch on the entry pass, working on Salia. He'll get the bucket, the bruise, and head to the line. That's third on Salia. Carleton, 14 of 18 from the stripe. But all 4 of those misses, the man on the line, Tyson Hins. He's now 5 of 9 from the stripe. And it's a 9-point game. Great ball movement, good look, and Jones buries it.
You called it. Great ball movement in that type of situation. Very unselfish play there.
They match their largest lead at 12. Hoban, Thompson wide open. His first field goal of the game is a triple, and it cuts the lead back to 9.
Boy, they needed that one right there. They were on the verge of having the game slip away on them.
0 for 7 before he drills that. And with 6 minutes left, the lead is 9. Searle up and under, it falls out. Battled for and won by the Ravens.
That one did everything but go in that time.
Over 5 minutes remains. Hens for 3. Short. Got the rebound, threw it off Thompson, who's standing out of bounds. And it remains with the Ravens.
This is going to be a great last 5.5 minutes. Carleton's trying to claw their way back into the game.
Here's Hens. And he lays it up and in. Pressure on, and the sophomore is delivering.
Well, they stopped double teaming him. They got to go back to double teaming him again, and one-on-one, you can't stop him.
Thompson tripped up, almost lost the ball. Here's Mike Kenny, thought about it, makes his way to the rim, threw it up wildly, and Hens picks up the foul. Timeout on the floor, the Ravens on the ropes. Will they respond? We find out next.
NB 7 Eastern.
Time now for the delivery of the game, brought to you by Pizza Pizza, the official pizza of the OUA. Order your favorite pizza before, during, or after the game. Pizza Pizza, always hot, always fresh. And the T-Wolves are hot, and if they get a banner for the gym, they'll be fresh.
That's 5 minutes. Both teams are now in the bonus situation, so like I said, you don't want it to come down to a free throw shooting contest if you're Lakehead.
They lead it 58-51. Doing a job defensively on the Carleton Ravens, who average over 90 a game at 51. Just 40 below their average.
Phenomenal defense.
Turns it over. Kenny, scrub. What?
Well, he shuffled on there. There's no doubt about that. Getting a little anxious. There's lots of time left. FIBA rules a 24-second shot clock. I don't know how many possessions left, but there's a lot. Play one possession at a time. You're not going to get a 7-point play. At least I hope not.
No, because then you would have wasted your coaching career. That 7-point play could be huge.
I'd be back coaching.
Fake the handoff. Hackner with the left hand, and he got it to go.
What a big hoop. It was a great drive to the basket there. Great finish, and now he's got a chance for a 3-point play.
He did not play last night against Ottawa, but comes up big. Averages just 2.1 points per game. But the son of Al with a big bucket with just over 4 minutes left.
I'll tell you what, no matter what the outcome is, Lakehead has given it everything they've got.
He gets the free throw, and it's back to a 10-point lead. Lakehead led by as many as 12. Some folks say you don't see a team's character until they get down. We're about to see what kind of character this young Carleton team has.
Well, Hoban right there missed a shot that he's been making the last 2 days. He's been very silent. The whole team's been pretty well silent.
Willie Manigat just picked up his 5th. About 70 feet away from his own net.
That is not where you want to pick up a foul. But not a bad substitution coming in Mike Kenny. You know, what Mike gives him that Willie doesn't. Mike's a much better shooter, great free throw shooter, and he's an experienced veteran. I mean, Willie's experienced too, but Mike's experience is a little bit better than what Willie's is.
Well, that's the good news. The bad news is Mana gets out, and he's put a man on the free throw line.
Free throws are going to, right now, Lakehead's got to forget that they shot only 62% from the free throw line. All that matters now is the next 4 minutes and 2 seconds how well they shoot.
So Joseph Jones heads to the line. Shooting 2 under FIBA rules. No 1-and-1. 5 fouls, 2 shots.
The airball free throw on national television, definitely not one of my finest moments. But, you know, I will say that, you know, I'm a shooter, and I always believe that the next shot's going in, or every shot that I shoot is going in. So, you know, me airballing that free throw, it really didn't bother me much. You know, my teammates always had full confidence in me and my ability to knock down shots and my ability to take shots. So that definitely didn't stray me away from, you know, hitting tough shots later on down the stretch in any game. You know, the last thing you want to do is see your first 2-3 shots rim out or miss, and then you get down on yourself. You know, you got to always tell yourself, no matter what, every shot you shoot is going in. Every shot you shoot is going in. Because if you don't, then you're already mentally gonna miss that shot. You're not even prepared. You know, you're already mentally putting yourself down, so you might even hesitate to take a shot. So definitely tell yourself every shot is going in, no matter what, miss or make. Every shot is going in, and even if you miss it, tell yourself the next shot's going in. And that's what I would do. You know, with the help of the confidence from my teammates that they had in me, and my own self-confidence and my ability to knock down shots, and me never being shy of taking a shot in any moment of the game, whether it's a close, big moment or, you know, we're up 20. I'm always going to have that confidence in myself to take a shot and hit the shot.
There's a draft in here.
Someone open the door.
Fresh out.
When he let go of it, earmuffs for the youngsters. He knew right away.
A lot of air, no iron on that one. He comes back and drains it.
Here's some flies. So 1 of 2 is the end result, and an 11-point lead. Mike Kenny with the entry pass to Hins. Hackner one-on-one. Hins, no good. Thompson clears the glass. And Lakehead is on the verge of doing something nobody's done this year, and that's beat the Carleton Ravens.
Nobody would have ever thought this could possibly happen, except maybe Lakehead.
Here comes Scrub. Offensive foul, no basket, as Ben Johnson stood in there and drew it.
You're right. Lakehead is doing what Carleton usually does. I mean, Carleton does a great job of taking the charge. These Lakehead kids, I'll tell you what, you can see why they're one of the best defensive teams in the country.
Third foul on Scrub. And because it's an offensive foul, no shots.
That's correct.
Thompson for 3. Joseph Jones with the putback, and neither go could have been the dagger. Scrub through the legs of Hins, and this just isn't your father's Carleton Ravens right now.
Searle's doing a good job. He's going to slow everything down. They need to use as much of the shot clock as they possibly can right now. Now there's a sense of urgency for Carleton.
Obin, the 2-time OUA East Defensive Player of the Year, gets a hand in. Shot clock at 10. 2:51 left in the game clock. Ben Johnson, the step through, lost it. And it'll go to Carleton. The clock is their enemy right now, and Lakehead used all 24 seconds of that clock.
Well, Lakehead's got to be careful now, is they don't want to stop the clock. Stopping the clock, they would stop the clock by fouling right now. Let Carleton beat you away from the free throw line.
Searle with the steal, and he lays it home. The Lakehead Thunderwolves are less than 2.5 minutes away from their first ever OUA Championship. Carleton's 21st turnover. Make it 22. And number 22 lays it in again. Playing in their first ever Wilson Cup game. And Coach, remember how close it was to them making this game. They led by as many as 16 against Ottawa U, but needed this from Benzel Russell to even get in the big game.
You know what? People question whether we should have a tournament of this format. We have seen 3 great games. Both games were wire to wire yesterday. And this one, I mean, a basketball fan couldn't ask for anything better. There are a lot of people in Hamilton that are missing great basketball tonight.
Coach Morrison imploring them to focus. You've seen the Ravens do this before, and you mentioned earlier that they were doing this by playing the Ravens game. And in my conversation with Coach Morrison, a lot of the descriptions of what he wanted his team to be sounded to me like the Carleton Ravens. And I mentioned that to him. He said, that's what we're working towards.
Well, I'll tell you what, for one day, they've done a great job. Can they continue this momentum into next weekend? That'll be crucial. If Lakehead continues on and wins this game, it'll be interesting to see what the seedings will be for next weekend's tournament.
Just the confidence gained, though, from beating the #1 team in the nation, an undefeated team, in a big game like this.
Oh, I mean, they'll have the best ride home right now.
Hoban took it right to the tin, got it to Hins. And the lead's down to 13, 2 minutes left.
One thing that happens in FIBA too now that we're under 2 minutes, on every made basket, the clock stops. So the game seems a little bit longer right now.
You wonder if they don't pick a couple guys and start fouling, given Lakehead's propensity for missing free throws. The dagger provided by Joseph Jones. Forget fouling. It's a 16-point lead.
I think it's too late for that now.
Hoban will get it to go.
And Searle's the right person to have his hands on the ball because he's an 86% free throw shooter.
And he will go to the line for 2. 5th in the country in free throw shooting.
What a difference a day makes with Jamie Searle. Yesterday they needed him down at the end. Today he's just been a contributor from start to finish.
That's his 20th point of the ball game. He had 2 last night.
I know what it's like to win the first Wilson Cup because in 91-92 at Brock we won our very first Wilson Cup. So I know what's going through Scott Morrison's body right now.
And a national championship soon followed. Hoban lays it home. A foul committed by Mike Kenny will send Joseph Jones to the line. 68% free throw shooter.
Well, it looks like they are going to try to foul, so this next minute 16 could take a long time to play. But again, I think it may be a little too late.
But this isn't the end of the teaching for Dave Smart.
No, I think what he's going to do, he's going to want to use this as a building block for next weekend. So, you know what? I mean, when they sit down and watch game film together, he's going to be able to point out certain things, and the kids will learn from it.
Jones gets the first.
You throw percentages out the window right now. They're meaningless right now. It's, you know, what happens in this situation here. Good.
The charge is called on Mike Kenny. That's his 4th foul.
I've never seen Carleton make mistakes like this. This is a totally different team than what I'm used to seeing all the time. I mean, Mike Kenny tried to do the right thing here, but great defense by Lakehead again.
Being a fan of UNLV growing up, I know that sometimes when a team blows everybody out and they get in a tight game, they don't handle it well. But Carleton had a tight game yesterday as Scrub gets it to go and the foul.
Keep them off the free throw line. And it's not that they shoot free throws so well right now, it's that the clock stops.
Right. And Jones got up immediately and said, I understand, I shouldn't have tried to take that charge. You can give him the 2 points, just don't give him 3 by 3. Carleton with 61 seconds left is going to try to extend this game. This is not the guy you foul. Using a lot of the shot clock, they end up committing the foul on Thompson.
They did a nice job of spreading the floor that time. And Dave's begging them to foul, and they're not fouling. And, way too much time. 17 seconds went off the shot clock that time.
Well, it's because Searle had the ball in his hand.
Yeah, you don't want to foul him.
Lakehead 24-11, overall 17-5. Led the OUA West as the second fall. But I'm not sure many outside Thunder Bay expected this. Kenny turns it over, and Lakehead is on its way. For the first time this season, the Carleton Ravens will fall. And it comes courtesy of the Lakehead Thunderwolves, who will sing their way.
This is going to be the biggest victory in their school's history, without a doubt.
Who says this means nothing?
Oh. I tell you what, for them to hoist that banner in their gymnasium and to know you can come back 10, 15 years later and say, I was part of that championship. People say the only thing that counts is the CIS championship, but you know what? They're an Ontario school, and Ontario championship is very, very important. It's the stepping stone to a national championship, and you know what? I'm as proud of the white banner that we won as much as the red banners that we won.
4 seasons ago, they posted 1 win in OUA play.
Being a member of that 1-21 team was a great experience and taught me so much. That team was a big reason we got to where we did in the end. I think the biggest change was the way we played as a team. During that first season, it was all about one guy and really only one guy. There was no team culture built yet at that point. Over the next few years, we brought in the right guys that fit together. Everyone that came in bought into Morrison's plan. We started to play like a family. Any guy would step up at any point. It wasn't all about one. It was more about the family and the team. Also, guys stayed all year round. From January to January, guys were there all summer, working hard, working together. We had one goal in mind, and we weren't going to let anything get in the way. We may have started 1-21, but in the end, we finished with that OUA Championship, and that 1-21 team had a lot to do with it, I think.
And they're about to hoist the banner at CJ Sanders.
Not a bad thing.
And what a game for Jamie Searle.
The interesting thing, Lakehead is scoring right now at their normal average. It's that Carleton right now is 32 points below their average.
Their lowest point total this season, 75. And Coach Morrison's boys have the Ravens at 59. 62. As Thompson hits. We've got an injury here.
No, I think he's got some muscle cramps.
That'd be the good news. Calf cramping up, on Russell. So Hackman will come back into the game. Let's hope that's just cramps. Morrison's going to take a timeout as the Lakehead Thunderwolves are pulling off the upset here in Hamilton.
But you know, the interesting thing, people will say, well, why is Scott calling a timeout right now? They're up 15 points, 17.8 seconds left. But you know what? You never know when you're going to be in a tight situation with the crowd and everything like this. He's probably going to diagram something on how to get the ball down the floor. Not necessarily to score, but to get the ball down the floor.
Well, the powerhouse of Carleton is well known and well documented.
Let's get a stat.
Playing in this, their fifth consecutive Wilson Cup final. Won 3 in a row in 6 of the past 8. And there you see CIS champions in 08-09, 06-07, 05-06, all the way down. We saw Osvaldo Genti in the building last night. He talked about how he was impressed with this team. But right now, they're about to fall for the first time this year.
You know what? Sometimes it's not a bad thing, though, because now they show that they're a little bit more vulnerable, and so it'll make practices a little more interesting. When you go undefeated, yeah, there's pressure put on you, but you know what? Tasting defeat sometimes gives you that sense of urgency to get back to where they were earlier in the season. So, you know what? Carleton may be losing this game, but I still say they're one of the favorites next weekend.
A pair of firsts will happen here in 18.2 seconds. Carleton will lose for the first time this year, and the Lakehead Thunderwolves will win the Wilson Cup. Searle spins with a little metal lark lemon as the T-Wolves will hold. In this, the 94th edition of the Wilson Cup, for the first time ever, the Lakehead Thunderwolves are OUA champions.
All right, let's go.
I like that from Coach Morrison. Steps in, top down, boys. Put your shirts on. Let's cut the net down. The Carleton Ravens are human. They fall for the first time this season. The Lakehead Thunderwolves will receive their wares after this.
I would say probably just the realization that what we were doing as a program and a coaching staff, you know, the vision to pivot, so to speak, and restructure the roster, it was all real reassuring that, you know, we were doing it and we were doing it the right way, and ultimately it paid off for us. You know, we were fortunate to get some unbelievably great kids and leaders that were committed and connected and willing to make individual sacrifices to win, and just having the, you know, wherewithal to be able to bring those players in and those guys commit to, you know, a program that hadn't had a winning history in recent years is just a testament to, you know, everything that we were trying to do and build as a program, and that's why it meant so much, I think, to everybody that was involved, because you know, we really started from scratch, and you know, it was kind of a culmination of winning everything in the OUA.
First awarded in 1908 to the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. For the first time ever, the Lakehead Thunderbirds will be able to etch their names on the Wilson Cup. Let's take a look at the final stats brought to you by Wilson, makers of the Wilson Evolution Basketball, the official basketball of the OUA. And in the end, Carleton's field goal percentage, not terrible, but the turnovers, 25. I don't think I've ever seen that from the Carleton Ravens.
25 turnovers is way too much, especially for a Carleton team that usually keeps it in the low teens. I thought that was a huge determining factor in the game. And the other one was Lakehead's bench outscored Carleton's bench 26-13, and Carleton usually takes pride in having a very deep team.
I wouldn't say it seems like Lakehead did beat the Ravens at their game.
Oh, they sure did. They sure did, and which is defense. Carleton usually beats you with defense, and Lakehead got in their faces. They were taking charges. They were double teaming. They just did they probably played the best game they played all year.
For the presentation, we send it to Glenn Sheeler. Glenn?
All right, thanks, Tim. Everyone, a round of applause for all the organizers and all 4 teams that participated this weekend on some great basketball, the 2011 Wilson Cup. I'll now get Ward Dills, Executive Director of the OUA, to help me present the Kitch McPherson Trophy for the Player of the Game, which is brought to you by Porter Flying Refined. And the Player of the Game, with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in a championship effort, Jamie Searle from the Lakehead Thunderwolves.
Winning the OUA Championship was amazing. It's hard to put into words. I never thought I'd get to that chance. I never thought I'd have the chance to play at that level. I know the summer leading up to going to university, I was told by many college coaches that they didn't think I was going to play at that next level. One of those coaches was Dave Smart of Carleton, who we ended up beating, and I was able to capture the MVP of that game as well. I wouldn't have been able to get that MVP or win that game without the amazing teammates and coaches that we had at Lakehead. It really was an amazing program, amazing culture. To this day, I still talk to each and every one of those guys. I love them to death. That championship will never be forgotten. That night, I think about all the time, all the experiences we had throughout the years with those guys. Was life-changing, and it was amazing.
Jamie, congratulations. The biggest game, the biggest win in school history. How did you guys do it? You beat the undefeated Carleton Ravens, a team that hadn't allowed more than 75 points, or you guys scored only scored. You scored 62. I mean, they scored 62. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
How did you guys do it?
We knew if we kept fighting, we were going to do it. We knew we were the only ones in the gym that thought we had a chance, and we didn't doubt ourselves for a second, and we outworked them for 40 minutes, and we got the win.
Last night, you struggled with your shot a little bit. How did you sleep, and how much did you want to go into this game and say, personally take over?
I probably slept for about an hour last night. Wasn't the best game yesterday, but the team stepped up and just came ready to play again. I knew shots would start falling, and they did.
I wonder how much did that effort of Wilfrid Laurier University may do for you guys to say, hey, maybe we can get this done?
Oh, well, we knew Laurier's a great team, but we knew we were a great team too, and Carleton's an amazing team. They fought hard, but we knew this was our night.
Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you.
Now we got to call up the team captains, guys. Team captains to present the banner, and for that, and the Wilson Cup, of course, and for that, Ward Dills again, and OUA Marketing Chair Darren Cates. The 2011 Wilson Cup champions, the University, the Lakehead University Thunderwolves, are champions. Guys, give it up. Suffered what you did and then lived to see the top. What does this mean to you right now?
Well, you're right. I'm definitely an expert on losing. Did it enough to know all the different ways to lose. It's been 2 good years for us. This is a great win for our program. Puts us in the history books forever. But what I hope it is just a start for us. I hope that every bit of the games that we lost over the last few years turns into wins over the next few years. So Carleton's the best team out there. We just got fortunate to beat them in this one game tonight.
Scott, who comes to mind when you think about who made this all possible?
I don't even know if I can think of how many people. I got about 40 for myself. But for the team, I want to thank our AD, Mr. Warden, for believing in me when I did have all those losses, and also for believing in the players that we were bringing in and they could get it done. Coach Pero and all the staff at Lakehead put a lot of work into this, and we're really excited. We're going to be happy about it. But come tomorrow morning, we're going to be thinking about Halifax and what we can do to get another banner next week.
Well, for tonight, go celebrate. Congratulations on a great win, Scott.
Yeah, Thunder Bay's in the house tonight.
You know, thinking back to the day that we won this championship and what it meant to us at the time, I mean, it meant everything. The amount of hours that we all put into that team, myself, the other coaches, the players, the training staff, the people back at Lakehead, many volunteers that we have for fundraising and community engagement. You know, there's way too many people to even mention, but I was definitely thinking of all those people at the time. I'm sure a lot of the other guys were as well, and just how much help we got to get to that moment. But it definitely felt good because it validated our efforts and proved that the stuff that we believed in, that we could become one of the top teams in the country, was accurate. I think it also, you know, validated the guys' choice to go to Lakehead, because we kept telling them, hey, if you come here, we'll definitely work together to make you the best player you can be, and we'll end up beating the schools that, you know, you would normally look at as a player coming out of high school. I think it meant a lot to the community. I think it meant a lot to the school, and it definitely meant a lot to those of us that were involved. Fast forward 10 years for me personally, this game, you know, and this team really made my career and opened up a lot of doors for me. You know, starting with the national programs, to the D-League stuff that I did, and now with the Celtics and the NBA, the top level, still preaching and coaching a lot of the same things that we preached and coached with that team. So I really have a lot of gratitude, and I'm very appreciative of everyone that was involved, especially the players who put up with me and my antics every day, every morning, and stuck with it to get us to that point and then beyond as the years went on at Lakehead. And I'll never forget it, and I'm really happy that the game was on TV, because not only did we beat the national champion, #1 ranked Carleton Ravens on national television, but now we have the game to enjoy for as long as we're on this earth. And I certainly will pull it up from time to time to remind myself of how lucky I was to be with that group and surrounded by those guys at the time. So thank you very much.
Tim?
In more ways than one, as Sheeler interviews the head coach of the Lakehead University Thunderwolves, as they get their name on that trophy for the first time in its 94-year history. And Coach, there is something to be said about that, and I know that Coach Morrison kind of played it down, but to win one game just 4 seasons ago and turn it around the way they did in the last 2 years, awfully impressive.
It's very impressive, and inside he's got to be ready to burst open, and he was very humble about the whole thing, but when it sinks in a little bit, I'll tell you what, you're not going to be able to wipe the smile off his face right now. And he's right. He hopes that this is a building block. In the last 2 years, he's done a wonderful job with their program, so kudos to Scott, and I wish him all the best next weekend into the national tournament.
Kudos to you. Fantastic job, and a pleasure working with a St. Catharines.
We grabbed this one. Coach, take your time, man.
Sports Hall of Fame member who will be inducted on May 3rd. Also thanks to Glenn Sheeler, our producer Chad Walker, Andrea Cucaro, Sheldon Alexander, and our entire crew here in Hamilton as for the first time ever, the Lakehead Thunderwolves are OUA champions. They'll head to the Final 8 next week in Halifax. Thank you for supporting amateur sport right here on The Score.